Hi guys, Gio here. Good afternoon, and today I want to talk about something not every League player knows. I am talking about playstyles. Now every player has a unique playstyle, a unique way they approach their situations, and a unique way in how they respond to those situations. Now noticing an opponent's playstyle in-game is very hard. Usually they have really small little habits that are almost unnoticeable when playing against them in-game. But every player in every game of League has a clear mindset, either passive or active, and that is really easy to notice. If your opponent continuously harassing you, trying to deny you farm and experience, then he probably has an active playstyle. He is letting himself miss some creep score to harass and force you back. On the other hand, if your opponent is staying safely behind his minion wave, trying to get as much creep score as possible, trying to dodge your harass but not harassing back, then that player has a passive playstyle. Pretty easy and simple to understand, right? The trick to all of this is that every player switches numerous times between these two playstyles in a single game. Some champions benefit from you having an active aggressive playstyle early on in the game. For example, Caitlyn can in lane abuse her extreme long auto attack range to get free auto attacks on the enemy AD carry, so a good Caitlyn will have a very active and aggressive playstyle early on in the game to whittle down her opponents, denying them farm. This also works the other way around. Tristana is a perfect example. Tristana is very weak early game, she skills really well with items. So early in the game you'd want a passive playstyle focusing as much as you can on getting farm and getting gold. Then as the game progresses you become stronger and you can switch to an active playstyle. Every champion benefits from one of these two playstyles more than the other. Knowing when your champion has his power spike, whether it be early, mid, or late game, or maybe even after a certain item, will drastically improve your game and playmaking abilities. You should always be aware of which playstyle you are currently using and when you need to switch. I've seen so many people on, for example, top lane die to their opponent, and when they come back to the lane from spawn, go all in again and have a full out brawl with their opponent, usually resulting in them dying again. This is a huge mistake. If you've given your opponent 2 or more kills, you need to switch playstyles. If you're losing, this can be a very difficult thing to do, as dying 2 times or more can make you go on tilt. In a situation like this, all you need to do is take a deep breath, relax, and focus on last hitting. Even if you have to hug your tower, try to get as much gold as possible. This way, you switch from your active, aggressive playstyle to a passive one. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean you can't fight with your opponent and try to get a kill. If you see a mistake, punish it. If your jungler comes for a gank and your opponent doesn't seem to have wards around, go for it. Just never try to 1v1 him anymore, as this will usually just result in you giving away more gold. If your opponent decides he's going to roam, ping MIA and punish him by taking his tower. Even if he doesn't leave the lane and you get to mid game in this situation, you will only have given him about 600 gold. And because you have been focusing on farming and getting gold, you'll have some items so you'll be useful in team fights. Always remember, a couple of early kills don't mean anything at 45 minutes, but 6 kills or more do. On another note, if you have been able to get 2 or more kills in your lane, whether it be with the help of your jungler or without, you should assume an active aggressive playstyle. Take their tower down and move on to other lanes to help your teammates. If you can establish dominance in your lane and you can take down their tower, you'll get some extra gold, and your jungler will have an easier time ganking your lane. But above all, you will be able to roam, help out your other teammates, gank their lanes, and grabbing objectives such as Dragon will become a lot easier. Also, when you destroy a turret, your side of the map gains extra vision, as you push the minion wave closer to their base, leaving more of their jungle exposed. With an aggressive playstyle, there are a lot of things you should be wary about. The enemy jungler will have an easy time ganking you if you keep pushing the wave to your opponent's turret, so wards are a prerequisite. You will also have to pay a lot of attention to pings. Other lanes will definitely try to come to their teammate's rescue, so you have to keep an eye on the minimap at all times. You might say, but Gio, these are things I do every game, warding, paying attention to the map, etc, etc. And yes, well, of course, these are things you do each game, but there are different things you have to keep track of depending on your current playstyle. Our brain can only focus to a certain extent, and being aware of what playstyle you are using will tell you what things to keep track of. For example, if you have killed your lane opponent twice and you are going to press your advantage against him by trying to ruin as much CS as possible and take his tower down, you need to actively go, okay, so I'm going to be aggressive. That means I need to buy some wards, keep track of their jungler, and listen for MIAs. Your opponent will, if he's smart, stop trying to 1v1 you, so you're allowed to switch your attention to a more global perspective. What happens if you don't do this? Well, probably you'll get tunnel visions. You'll be trying to harass and kill an opponent who has decided he isn't going to fight you anymore and wait for his jungler to come for a gank. And if you're tunnel visioned, you won't notice the jungler coming up from behind you. So you might be asking yourself, isn't it just playing passively the best and safe option then? Well, technically speaking, yes it is. This is also the reason why in high elo or challenger games, a first blood usually isn't taken before around 10 minutes in game. So then why have an aggressive playstyle? Well, unlike a passive playstyle, being aggressive can bear a lot more rewards, but as I stated earlier, also comes with a lot more risk. If you can get your team snowballing, grabbing kills and towers on every lane, your opponents will have a very hard time reacting to it. They'll lose gold, vision, objectives, and farm. It is usually best to start out with a passive playstyle. Try asserting your opponent's playstyle, whether it be passive or active, and respond appropriately. Now this whole video I've been talking about aggressive and passive, but usually you won't be able to discern their playstyle so easily. You see, most people early on in the game have a mix of aggressive and passive. They'll try to farm as much as possible and harass you whenever they see the opportunity arise. Only after you've died or gotten a kill will you see a clear playstyle. Take this information with you into your next game and try to actively think about it. Am I being aggressive or passive? And what do I need to keep track of? Thanks for watching guys. Please comment, like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. And I'll see you guys next time.